Hello there, my name is Dominic and today I have the Tecno Camon 15 and the Tecno Camon 15 Premier for a quick comparison. In this video, you are going to learn about the noticeable and unnoticeable differences between these two devices. So let's start. Now the Tecno Camon 15 Premier is on the left and the Tecno Camon 15 is on the right. The first noticeable difference between these two devices is that the Tecno Camon 15 has a dot-in display camera, while the Tecno Camon 15 Premier has a pop-up front camera, and I'm going to demonstrate. That is the camera that I'm talking about. Now, this camera is a 32 megapixel camera, while the one on the Camon 15 is a 16 megapixel camera. The other major difference between these two devices is the front flash. The Tecno Camon 15 has front dual flash, while the Camon 15 Premier does not have flash. Well, actually it has, but I'm going to demonstrate. In the Tecno Camon 15, I'm going to use the flashlight, and I'm going to enable the front flashlight. Now, this is the front flash on the Tecno Camon 15. What about the Camon 15 Premier? The Camon 15 Premier takes use of the full screen turning white as the flashlight, and I'm going to demonstrate. That was the front flashlight on the Tecno Camon 15 Premier. Now let us talk about the displays. The display on the Camon 15 Premier is a full HD display, while the one on the Tecno Camon 15 is a HD display. The Camon 15 Premier has a 2340 by 1080 display, while the Camon 15 has a 720 by 1600 display. So this is a full HD device and this is a HD device. While we are talking about the display, well, the Camon 15 Premier has what is known as a perfect full view display because it doesn't have a camera blocking the view, while the Camon 15 has a dot-in display 6.6 inch screen, but has a dot-in display which takes some area from the screen. Also, one thing to note about the flashlight. The flashlight on the Camon 15 Premier has two levels. That's level 1 and that's level 2. Can you see the difference? That's off. Level 1, level 2. It's brighter. While the Camon 15 does not have that. It only has one level. Like that. It's either on or off. There's no two levels. Now let us talk about the quad cameras on these two devices. Both have quad rear cameras with quad flash. That is the Camon 15 and that is the Camon 15 Premier. Now the Camon 15 Premier has a 64 megapixel lens among the 4 cameras at the back, and you enable it by tapping that area. The Camon 15 has a 48 megapixel camera among the cameras at the back, and you enable it by tapping that area over there. Both of these devices have HDR. Now, when it comes to the types of photos taken, we can see that the Camon 15 Premier has macro as well as wide angle photography enabled. The Camon 15 only has macro enabled. Now, the macro lens on the Camon 15 is only 2 megapixel, while the one on the Camon 15 Premier is 5 megapixels. This macro lens is also used to take the wide angle photos on the Camon 15 Premier. Now, in normal photography, the Camon 15 Premier will take picture sizes of up to 16 megapixels, while the Camon 15 will take picture sizes of up to 12 megapixels. Now let me open the settings application and we are going to compare the internal specifications of these two smartphones. Both are really fast. Both these two devices run on the same Android version, which is Android 10. Now the Camon 15 Premier has 6 GB RAM, while the Camon 15 has 4 GB RAM. The storage on the Camon 15 Premier is 128 GB versus 64 GB on the Camon 15. We have already talked about the front cameras. 32 megapixel on the Camon 15 Premier versus 16 megapixel on the Camon 15, with the 64 megapixel quad camera setup on the Camon 15 Premier versus the 48 megapixel quad camera setup on the Camon 15. The Camon 15 Premier has a 2.35 GHz octa-core processor, while the Camon 15 has a 2 GHz octa-core processor. The Camon 15 Premier also has a smaller battery capacity, which is 4000 mAh versus 5000 mAh on the Camon 15. I have already talked about the resolution. The Camon 15 Premier has a full HD screen, while the Camon 15 has a HD screen. When it comes to the dimensions, the Camon 15 Premier is a little bit lighter as compared to the Camon 15. I guess it's because of the extra battery capacity on the Camon 15. This is lighter, although this is actually bigger. The dimensions on this device are actually bigger than the dimensions on this device. Compare over here. Now, let's take a look at the user interface because they are exactly the same. Everything is similar because these two devices run on the same Android version. And now lastly, the price. The Tecno Camon 15 costs around 16,000 Kenya shillings. This is around 160 US dollars, while the Camon 15 Premier is a little bit expensive. This one goes for around 27,000 Kenya shillings, which is around 270 US dollars. Now, when it comes to accessories, these two devices came with exactly the same accessories. They both have exactly the same charger, the 5 volts 2 ampere charger, and exactly the same earphone headsets, as well as the micro USB cable. Both of these devices also came with the free silicone phone case that you can see over here. Now, the only difference in accessories is that the Camon 15 came with the free glass protector, while the Camon 15 Premier did not have that in the accessories. And one thing to note, these two devices did not come with the British standard plug like this one. I prefer this type of plug over this one. Now, which phone would you buy and which one do you think is more stylish? Tell me in the comments below. Thank you for watching and goodbye.